Yes, you have read the title correctly. I have officially quit my job. For real this time, because y'all know I quit before. But for real this time, I have officially left. There's no going back. My last day will be June 17th. There's a lot to unpack in this video. The first thing I want to do is the story time of how I quit. And then number two, I want to get into just my sabbatical plan altogether. I'm going to talk about money, what I want to do while I'm off, like if I plan on going back to work, all of that. So of course, this is not official. My mind changes every day, so I may switch things up. But what is official is the quit date. But anything else that I'm saying in this video, it might change. So I just want to say that don't hold me to anything. Please don't. It's very important for me to get into my finances in this video because I want y'all to know that it's possible. This is not YouTube money. This is not YouTube money. This is all my money from working full-time and then even going part-time, saving a little bit of money. But I know that a lot of YouTubers, like, they leave their job and then they get into content creating full-time. That is not my situation. Anything I make from YouTube, I don't want to touch until next year. That is the goal. We're really gonna deep dive into how I save for that, okay? Before we get into it, let me know in the comments, what are the first 3 things you would do on your sabbatical? Also, give this video a thumbs up and let's get started. First, let's get into the story time of how I quit. This is very quick, but I really want to tell y'all how it happened and why I just went with my gut on it. Maybe like 2 weeks before, I was thinking about staying until like the end of the year. I don't hate my job because I barely do anything. I work 8 to 1. I was just thinking to myself, why am I trying to quit? This is not that bad. The day of June 3rd, which was my original date, because y'all know I've been talking about June 3rd for the longest. That morning, the song 777 by Silk Sonic came on. And at the end of the song, they say, you gotta trust your gut. So I'm like, okay, that might be a little bit of a sign. I keep driving and I finally get to work. Our bonus posted and my account balance was $1,777.70 in my checking account. Now, 777, 777, all these sevens everywhere. I'm like, but then I said, you know what? I just need one more. Right then, my boss came up to me and said that they want to move me to a different department that I don't want to go to. And that there it was. I didn't quit right then in his face because I'm shy. And I didn't know how I was going to do it this time because the last time I quit back in October, I quit face to face. But this time I was thinking it would be just so much easier to send him an email. Tell me why he had to go home. So I was able to just go ahead and send that email. Hey, I want to put in my resignation. Thank you for letting me work part-time. Have a good day. Don't get me wrong, I love my boss, but I didn't want to do it in his face because I actually really, like I said, I like my boss. He's really nice, but it's just time to go. The universe was just telling me to go on out the door. So now let's move along to my actual sabbatical plan. Keep in mind that I planned this sabbatical 2 years ago. I already had in my head that I would be leaving. I thought at first it would be December of this year, but I think that was fear-based, feeling like I needed a whole bunch of money, even though I have no bills. So I moved the date up to June 3rd. Now, let's talk about first how I was able to save. Number one is becoming debt-free. I'm not saying that it's a necessity, but because I was in so much debt, I was living check to check. And my goal was to free up some of my money so that I could save that money. After I paid off my debt, what I did was I kept putting that money into my account and pretended that it didn't exist. Another way that I aggressively saved was any tax money, the stimulus payments that we received, bonuses that I got from work. If someone owed me money and I forgot about it and then they paid me, all of that money went into my savings account, right? So I gave myself a very low spending budget. It would range from $80 to $125 every 2 weeks, depending on what I wanted to do that month. I saved a lot of money. But then what ended up happening earlier this year, I went ahead and dipped into my savings to pay up some of my bills for the year. So I did pay my phone bill. I paid my car insurance for the next 6 months. You know, I put gas money aside for the year, stuff like that, so I could go ahead and have that stuff done so I didn't have to see it coming out of my account. On top of that, I did the envelope challenge. For the envelope challenge, I would have ended up with $5,000 by the end of this year, but I went ahead and stopped it back in May knowing that I was going to quit. I ended up with $2,000, and with that money, I also used it to pay up some of my bills and put money aside for like spending money, things like that. I'm looking at my list of the things I paid up. Number one is health insurance. I went through the marketplace to get health insurance. So I didn't pay it up for 6 months, but I have that money already in the account that I'm paying the health insurance from. That is paid up until January of next year. I already paid up my phone bill at the beginning of this year. My car insurance that's coming up is going to be $637. I upgraded to full coverage. I took money out for that, put it in the money market since I can't pay it just yet. My part of the rent, because I house hack, is about $700 to $800. I went ahead and put money aside for that for the next 6 months, so I don't have to worry about that until January. Everything's paid up. I have 0 bills. The only thing I need to worry about is gas money and, you know, shopping, spending money, etc. With the spending money though, I also put that aside as well. So I have a decent amount to spend, about $4,000 in spending money. Now, keep in mind, y'all, that I've only been spending $250 every month because I've been trying to save. So I know that's gonna go up since I'll be home more, but not that much because I don't really spend a lot of money. I don't plan on going too crazy. I know a lot of people say before you quit your job, you should save like 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. I think that that's a good idea, but you need to save money on top of that too, because you want to spend money when you off, right? You want to do stuff, travel and stuff like that. With your sabbatical plan, I think it's important to pick a date that makes sense. The reason why I picked June 3rd was for several reasons. Number one, May 8th will be my 5-year anniversary, meaning that I'll be fully vested into my 401k. I have a video on that going into what that means, but I wanted to be fully vested into my 401k, so that was done. And then I knew that next month in June, I was gonna get my bonus. So that's why I picked June 3rd. It was like the perfect time. So when you're picking a date to go on a sabbatical, make sure it makes sense. Make sure you're getting all the money that you can that's on the table, because you about to take a break and you're gonna need that money. You're gonna need that money. Another thing that I did that I would recommend doing is watch a lot of people who are already on sabbaticals. I already told y'all I have a few content creators that I recommend. When it comes to financial planning and stuff, I like to hear other people's take on it and see which way works for me. I watched a lot of content creators who were talking about things they did after their sabbatical, you know, how they saved up, stuff like that, you know, what they did with their 401k, all of that. Now let's talk about my 401k. So with my 401k, I can leave it alone for at least a year. So I know that I plan on going back to work part-time eventually, because I don't really want to, I'll talk about that in another video, but I really want to work somewhere where I can get a discount, like a hotel or something, or like the airlines. I think I have about like 19,000 in there right now, so not a lot, but it's still pretty good. But I don't plan on cashing it out. I just wanted to mention that. I think I said in a older video that I would cash it out. Heck nah. Here's another big one that I did. It's the Jic Fund, which is my just in case fund. So before I dip into my emergency savings, because I really don't like seeing that balance go down, that account has $1,000 in there. I look at that account as the line of credit to myself. So before I use my credit card or before I dip into my emergency savings, that is the fund I dip into, and then I just put the money back. I would look into like a cash cushion or a just in case fund, something before you dip into the big dog savings. My biggest goal with this video is to just really break down how I'm doing it, because I know that, you know, a lot of people go into content creating and they do it full time, and so that's how they're able to pay their bills and stuff. And I wanted to show y'all just from like a regular point of view, like a person who saved up their own money. You know what I mean? If you don't feel comfortable living off of a savings, which I totally get that, try to find another stream of income. It's so important to have more than one. You know, find a side hustle, do something that will help you get to the point where you need to be. I did a lot of overtime at one point to try to pay off debt and do all of that. Discipline is the key. Very quickly, I want to just share what I plan on doing while I'm on sabbatical, because I do want to do some home renovations. I told y'all that, and I'll be recording that for y'all, of course, because you know I'm gonna do it on a budget. But I also would love to write a book. I have a book title that I'm just so in love with and I can't wait to share. But I wanted to do a finance book, but not your regular finance book. I've already started on it, so I'm super excited to finally finish that. And then I just want to keep giving out content. I feel that I'll be in a more, I feel that my headspace will be a lot more clear, and I'll be able to really make a lot of content and just keep posting, keep being consistent. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it was very thorough, and I hope that I made sense. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments. I got you. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next video.